Yo everyone, and welcome back to my channel, and also Happy New Year. This is my first video that will be going up hopefully today. Today is actually New Year's Eve. Look at me all dressed up with nowhere to go. We're in lockdown again. So anyway, I thought that I would cheer you up slightly for those of you that are stuck at home such as myself without being able to do our usual New Year's celebrations by showing you the brand new foundation by Fenty Beauty. So this is the Pro Filt'r Soft Matte Powder Foundation, which was released a couple of days ago in the UK and worldwide as well. I got mine in the shade 290, which is pretty much a perfect match for me. I'd probably say it's slightly dark for me, not too much that is actually really obvious. And this retails at £27 in the UK. I bought mine from Boots. I had £27 worth of Boots vouchers, so I actually paid nothing for this, which I'm quite grateful for, because you guys, I really do not like this foundation. I'm sorry. I know you wanted 2021 to start off with a great new start, great new foundation. This ain't it. Before I get into the review and explain to you my reasons why, because as you guys should know by now, when it comes to reviews, I like to give you the pros and the cons and then my opinion based on my experiences with a product. So let's start off with the shade range. First off, there are 50 shades. It's exactly the same shades as is with all the other foundations. The liquid version of this, as well as the more dewy one, I can't remember the name. And the one that I got, which is 290, is described as medium with warm olive undertones. Now, I struggle quite a lot with my warm skin tone to get the right kind of undertone for me. I struggle a lot when it comes to Fenty shades. I've tried 300, too neutral. I've tried 310, too deep, 330, too deep, so I've settled on 290. So maybe those of you that are a similar skin tone to me can maybe recommend a better match for me. I don't know, but I've always settled kind of with 290 and I'm fairly happy with this. So first off, in terms of the packaging, it comes in the classic white. I'm really bad with shapes. What's this? A hexagon, an octagon? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. An octagon shaped plastic packaging. And then on one side of the palette itself, it comes with a mirror and then a easy to use sponge. A sponge is one of the ways that is recommended to use this. And then you flip it over, and then on the other side, you've got the powder foundation itself along with another mirror. So it's very compact, very easy to use, very travel friendly if you're going anywhere. I'm not. So let me just quickly read to you what their claims are off of Fenty's website themselves. It says it is a buildable, light to full coverage for all. Remember that. Light to full coverage for all. So technically that red spot there, you should not be able to see it. Okay. Long wear, light as air, crease resistant. Give it to me quick. The award-winning foundation that forever changed the game. Now in a long wear, light as air powder to deliver light to full coverage in a non-cakey, soft matte finish in 50 shades for all. It's fast, flawless and easy. It says that it is long wear, light as air, no flashback, blur filter complex to deliver the ultimate blurred finish, sweat, humidity and crease resistant, buildable, light to full coverage formula that loves to be layered, won't settle into fine lines, clog pores or cake up, reduces the appearance of shine, chic, portable powder, compact fits in hand. Okay. Now, based on what they have said, and I'm actually glad that they have come up with some of these claims. I can dispute some of those claims based on somebody who has obviously worn it already. Now, long wear, light as air, no flashback. I would say, yep, it doesn't have any flashback because it is already kind of got pigments within the powder. Normally when you take photos and you get flashback, it is as a result of the powder on your face. But because this is a powder foundation, you don't actually need to set this at all. It sets itself because it's already a powder. What are you going to do? Put a powder on top of a powder? It's pointless. A lot of the time, the reason why we put powder is to set the foundation, to stop it moving around. That doesn't happen with this. It stays in place all day on your face and it doesn't move and it doesn't budge at all. Long wearing, I would say that it is. I wore mine for 16 hours and it did not move off of my face. It didn't rub off really onto anything unless I obviously went like that and then I saw powder on my hand. Light as air, oh, I would say, yeah, I guess it is quite light feeling, is in terms of its texture, it's quite light. It kicks up a tiny bit of powder but not too much. Now it says that it's got the blur filter complex to deliver the ultimate blurred finish. I would agree with that. I would definitely say that my skin looks slightly blurred, but bear in mind I've also now got other products on my face as well in terms of contour, blush, highlight, concealer, setting powder under the eyes as well. So that's just something to bear in mind when you're looking at my face right now. Sweat, humidity and crease resistant. I would say yes, kind of. Now, when I was wearing this on my face yesterday, when I bought it, and like I said, I wore it all day and way into the night as well. I was hoovering my house, I was cleaning, I hoovered the whole loft, I hoovered 3 flights of stairs, I was hot, I was sweaty. When I looked at my face afterwards, I was like, okay, she looks all right, you know, nothing's moved. I don't look shiny, I don't look sweaty. And because I've got my heating on, because it is like minus something outside right now, the heat in the house is quite high. That did not really cause any kind of movement on the face as a result of using this foundation. Now, my issue is where it says buildable light to full coverage formula that loves to be layered. This does not love to be layered at all. The first time I wore this, I had a shower. I came out the shower, I used my usual skincare products, finishing off with moisturizer and sunscreen. Now, generally when I tend to wear my makeup, and I know a lot of you are the same, you generally tend to apply your makeup very soon after applying your skincare, because one generally tends to work quite well with the other. So when you're wearing a liquid foundation and you apply moisturizer, it helps the liquid to glide on a lot better. The problem here is that you are applying a powder on top of a sticky, tacky kind of base. And what I found was that in certain areas, it was clogging up in those areas where there was still moisturizer that hadn't necessarily sunk in. Now today, when I have worn this in this video where I'm going to do a demo as well, I had my sunscreen and my moisturizer on from an hour ago. So it had already settled onto my face, and therefore it applied a lot more smoothly, a lot better and a lot more evenly. And it also blended out a lot better as well. However, the problem with this that I have is that who's got time when they're getting ready every day to wait an hour in between their skincare and their makeup? We ain't got time for that. So for me, that's actually a minus, because you should really be able to do one followed by the other quite quickly. And in terms of it saying buildable light to full coverage, I struggled quite a lot in terms of the coverage. I have applied quite a lot onto my face today, and that is intentionally for the purposes of this review. As a consumer and as a viewer of review videos, you would preferably want to see it light to medium to full, so you can see exactly how it would work on someone's face. And that's exactly what I've done today. Generally, I tend to prefer full coverage because I've got scarring, I've got redness, I've got random spots here or there, I've got textural issues, I've got acne scarring, and I'm somebody who generally tends to prefer more medium to full coverage. So I started off with a light hand. Now, bear in mind that they have given a sponge with this, but from what I have read and reading it off of their website, and look at the joke, right? They have written, in terms of how to use this, make sure to moisturize your skin with Fenty Skin's Hydra Visor Invisible Moisturizer Sunscreen. After moisturizing, apply your favorite Pro Filt'r primer and let set. All right, but how long are you supposed to let it set for? An hour? Use the included sponge. Even they say, do your skincare first, then do your makeup straight away after. You see, even they've said it themselves, not realizing it don't quite work that way. Use the included sponge to build to your desired coverage for a flawless blurred finish. We recommend blah, blah, blah brush. Now, what they've said, ironically, is for medium to full coverage, apply using a Kabuki Buff foundation brush. And that's exactly what I did. I used this Morphe G3 brush, and this is a more dense kind of brush, because that's what they're basically saying to you. If you want more full coverage, you need to go in with something a lot more dense, something that can pick up a product a lot better than a sponge, and then apply it to your face. Now, all I can say is I went in again and again and again and again and again, and I'm like, hello, I can still see the redness on my face. Just a disclaimer, I shaved my face last night, so my face is a little bit red today. My chin still looks kind of red. I had a little spot there. You guys should be able to see it because I can see it. So I have gone over this again and again and again, and I can still see that it is red. This really does not give medium to full coverage unless you literally apply half of this palette onto your face. You will keep going on, and the more you apply, the cakier it becomes, the more uncomfortable it becomes, the more tighter it becomes on the skin. So if you are buying this on the premise of wanting full coverage, you are going to not only struggle, you're going to be very disappointed with the way that it sits on the face. This is the kind of foundation I can feel on my face. I don't know what it is with Fenty's foundations. There is some sort of ingredient in here, because I found that with all of them, that the more you apply, the more uncomfortable it gets on the face. Now it also says won't settle into fine lines. I don't have any fine lines. However, I noticed that when I applied this near my eye area, it was starting to actually dry out my under eye area, and where I've got normal eyeball lines, it was actually making them a lot more obvious. If you guys have seen my review video of this Fenty powder, the Pro Filt'r Instant Retouch Setting Powder, I say exactly the same thing about this. I say exactly the same thing about the concealer. And it just seems to be a recurrent theme with these Fenty base products, that they have got something in them that is quite drying. And I know that that kind of goes hand in hand with them wanting to have a soft matte finish. But soft matte does not mean dehydrating my skin to the point where I feel like I've been sitting in the Sahara for 5 days. Now it says it won't clog pores or cake up. It definitely cakes up on the face completely. Another thing that it does is if you have got any kind of dry skin on your face, it will attach itself to it because it's a powder, accentuate it and make it so much more obvious. I've got a little bit of dry skin around the side of my nose because I suffer from allergies, so I do tend to actually blow my nose a lot, and that's the one area where I get a lot of dry skin because obviously a tissue is always rubbing on it. I can even see, you may not be able to see, but I can see the dry skin it has caught around the edges. I've got remnants of eczema on the side of my mouth. On my chin it's almost gone, so there's no issues there, but it's clung to that area and made it a lot more obvious. So yes, it does cake up. In terms of clogging pores, you won't really know that until months later, and then you see the state of your skin. Reduces the appearance of shine. 100% it does. I was very impressed with the way that, despite the fact that how many hours I had worn it on my face did not get shiny at all. I have got, for reference, normal to combination skin, so I tend to get oily on my T-zone, and this kept every single bit of oil at bay. I was very impressed with that. Now they also say that it's very quick and easy. No, it's not. Like I said, even in terms of me putting it on today, I was applying it for ages and ages and ages, and the more I wanted to build it up, the longer it took. The longer it took to blend out as well, because bear in mind it's a powder, so it's very subtle in the areas where you have placed it, because you're trying to build up those areas. So in terms of how long you are going to take to get ready in the morning when wearing this, you're going to have nothing else better to do, basically. Waiting for your skincare to set, then putting it on, then spending ages blending it in. Who's got time? I find it very drying. Even now, you know what, you guys? I've got this Too Faced Hangover 3-in-1 replenishing spray. My face feels really tight and uncomfortable because I've got this, and I had to even... Oh, that's so much better already. Honestly, now again, does that mean that you have to buy an additional product to get this to settle on your face better? You have to spray some sort of primer spray or setting spray over the top. You really should not have to. Another thing that it does is it emphasizes my pores, definitely. The powder does not kind of fill them in and give that blurring sort of effect that it supposedly does. If anything, it sits on top and it emphasizes my texture, my pores, and all my dry skin as well. It sits on the face like a fake veil, and I find it to be quite aging as well. Now, touch wood, I don't actually have any signs of aging as yet, so why would I want to then purchase something that's gonna make me look older than I actually am? Nobody wants that. When you do try to build it up as well, it starts to feel very heavy and very cakey on the face. So even though they are saying that this works well in terms of layering, I really don't think it does. The more you layer it, the more cakey it becomes, the heavier it feels, the more uncomfortable it feels, and the more you can actually feel it on your skin. People with dry skin will absolutely hate this foundation. People with oily skin, on the other hand, may like it a little bit better, but that also does not mean that because you've got oily skin, it still won't emphasize texture and pores and that sort of thing. So it's up to you about weighing up those pros and those cons. One thing I did have to say was that it definitely sat and looked a lot better on my face after about 5 hours, and that is purely because at that point was when the natural oils in my skin was starting to kind of fight through that base, which it couldn't quite get through. Then the powder sat a lot better on the face. And another thing I noticed as well was, once the natural oil started to come through on my face, the foundation slightly darkened. Now, even though this is not a liquid foundation and the shades are an exact match, I would say, to the liquid versions, because I tried these out against my 290s and they all match. The only difference is that this is a powder, so it may appear slightly lighter, but like I said, once it's sat on your face for a while and marinated a little bit, it will become slightly darker because of the oils in your skin. That's not necessarily a bad thing, especially if you already know what your Fenty foundation shade is. So all in all, I find it to be quite unflattering. I find that it suffocates the face. I'm personally not that happy with it. I'm really not a fan of this. I think that the only way that this may work for some people is to use it as like a setting powder over your other foundations. It's completely up to you. Some people may like it like that. But again, the way that this works with something moisturizing underneath, you may struggle again. Because if you've got a liquid foundation on your face that has not completely set, then you apply this on top, it will clog and go patchy in certain places, because this is still a foundation at the end of the day and not a setting powder per se. You will also go through this very, very fast. Already, you can't see the FB design, which is on my powder. I've used this twice. That's it. And in both instances, I've gone for a full coverage kind of look. So you can imagine in a couple of weeks of me using this every day, it will finish. Is it worth the money? I would say no. So that's my review of the brand new Fenty Pro Filt'r Soft Matte Powder Foundation. I've given you the pros, I've given you the cons. It's up to you completely to decide for yourselves. Obviously, everybody is going to have a different opinion. This is just my opinion on the way that I've tested it out, used it. Powder foundations are always something good that people tend to use when you've got combination or oily skin as well. But I definitely think that there is better on the market for those of you that are on the lookout for a powder foundation. This is just not great. I should not be able to feel my makeup on my face. I want it to feel lightweight, airless, fresh. And the thing is as well, even though my skin does look soft matte kind of, I still feel that I look quite unnatural and a little bit fake. And I don't want that from my foundation. I want it to look like I've got a nice natural kind of coverage. So I hope you guys enjoyed my review of the new Fenty foundation. Like, comment, make sure you subscribe to my channel. Let me know what your thoughts are. If you've tried it out, if you've used it, what your thoughts were, what is your skin type, how did you find that it worked for you? Let me know below. Let's discuss. Other than that, I hope you guys are wonderful and amazing, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.